Hi! Has your doctor told you that your hemoglobin A1C is starting to get too high and you may have to start taking medication? If you want to avoid taking medications for lowering your blood sugar, then stay tuned to this video. That's what we're going to talk about today. But in case we haven't met yet, I'm Angela. I'm a registered nurse with over 20 years of experience. And I'm a health coach and I help women to improve their insulin sensitivity and avoid diabetes. I help them to get their health back. So in case you're not sure what hemoglobin A1C is exactly, that is an indication of what your blood sugar has been doing over the last 3 months, because blood sugar affects the hemoglobin blood cells, and those cells last for about 3 months. So that is how doctors can tell what has been going on with your blood sugar over a longer period of time than just getting your fasting blood sugar. So to lower your hemoglobin A1C, you need to keep your blood sugar at a more regulated level, at a lower level. That's going to be harder to do whenever you've developed insulin resistance, because your cells are not responding to insulin and letting the sugar in and out of the bloodstream. So the first thing you have to do is not take in as much sugar and flour, any kind of grain flour that responds in the body the same way as sugar does. So whole wheat flour, even if it says whole wheat flour, that is going to raise your blood sugar the same way that eating sugar does. So you want to really eliminate sugar and grain flours. So even if it says it's gluten-free, it's still a grain flour and it is still going to spike your blood sugar. So that's the first step. You can also enjoy some fruit, but just in smaller quantities. So you definitely want to have fruit. It's got great phytonutrients, lots of vitamins and minerals, and fiber. But you want to make sure that you're not getting too much at one time. So really getting a half to a full serving once or twice a day at the most. So that is where you want to have the blood sugar control in your diet, is by limiting sugar, limiting or eliminating sugar, grain flours, and also limiting fruit. So other ways that our blood sugar can be affected is by stress, and that can be mental or physical. Mental stress is what we normally think of as stress. That is whenever you're responding to your circumstances, the circumstances of your life, feeling overwhelmed, busy, worrying, feeling angry all the time, having this an ongoing sense of feeling just like it's too much, right? So whenever you are having that experience on a regular basis, then that keeps your blood sugar up. So rather than thinking about changing your life, you can change the way you respond. So I have some other videos about that. I'm not going to go into a great detail about that, but that is one way that you could be undermining your hemoglobin A1C being too high, is by being in that stressful response too often. Now there are also physical stress response mechanisms, and that can be having food sensitivities. So if you have a food sensitivity, that's not the same thing as having an allergy. An allergy, you'll know it, right? If you eat that food that you're allergic to, you have an immediate response. With a food sensitivity, there's a longer time between whenever you eat the food. It can be 2 days later that you're having a response. You have a migraine, or you're not able to sleep at night. That can be because of a food sensitivity. So whenever you're eating those foods on an ongoing basis, then your body is also responding to those foods and that causes a stress response in the body. And anytime there's a stress response, that can affect your blood sugar, cause your blood sugar to be elevated. Another way that you can have physical stress is through an ongoing infection, like just a low simmering kind of an infection that you're not even aware of. That would be like Lyme disease. Sometimes people have Lyme disease and they're not aware of it, but the body has this ongoing response to it in the immune system, and that can keep the body in a stress response. Also, there can be an infection in the gut bacteria. The gut bacteria can be out of balance, and that will also cause that response. Those are some infections you may have to see a functional medicine practitioner to uncover. If you're finding that your hemoglobin A1C is staying elevated, even whenever you're keeping your intake of sugar and refined flours at a minimum. The third way that we can raise our blood sugar through physical stress is by consuming inflammatory foods. Now, we talked about sugar and flour, and those are definitely inflammatory as well, but so are refined oils, fried foods, canola oil even, Wesson oil, vegetable oil. These kind of oils will cause an inflammatory response in the body. So it's better to stick with high quality olive oil, avocado oil, even ghee. Ghee is a refined, a clarified butter. That's one that is also less inflammatory. And even butter itself can be better than canola oil. So those would be some alternative suggestions. So another thing that you really need to make sure you're doing well is sleeping. Getting a good night's sleep is going to help your body to keep your blood sugar down, which will keep you from having a high hemoglobin A1C. So sometimes we have trouble sleeping. I have another video also about getting better sleep, because that can be a challenge. But doing what you need to do so that you get a good night's sleep is going to be important for keeping your blood sugar down. And lastly, exercising on a regular basis. So getting good exercise every day, 5 days a week, not pushing yourself too hard. You can cause stress by really having long, hard workouts. But if you are exercising, you can do shorter bursts, high intensity exercise, or you can do just a nice low intensity walk or something like that. These are great ways of using up the energy that you do have, the blood sugar, and also that helps to keep your blood sugar in check. So there you go. There are your tips for lowering your hemoglobin A1C so that you can avoid taking medication. And be sure to check out my playlist on insulin resistance, how to reverse insulin resistance. Those are going to give you some great tips as well. So until next time, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you get more tips on how to get your health back. Until next time, bye for now.